Welcome back, dear governors and friends, to the 2024 Board of Governors second plenary. First on our agenda today are committee reports and resolutions. We hope that you will be inspired to join this committee moving forward now that you have heard about the great impact it has on our students, both personally and academically. I would like to now invite your chairwoman, Mrs. Dafna Meitar-Nechmad, to present the remaining committee resolutions.
Before we start, I want to make an announcement that is kind of also very good news. Yesterday, I had a meeting with Jeremy Kohler. I don't think he is here now. Is he here? No, he was supposed to be here. Anyway, Jeremy Kohler, you all know him, a great benefactor of the university. The Faculty of Management is named after him, and he had done many other things at the university, real friend of Israel and the university. So he informed me yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? I'm confused with the days. Anyway, that he would support by $12 million the university for the Center of Entrepreneurship. I should also mention that Moshe Tzviran, I'm not sure whether Moshe is here. Is he here? No, he's not here. So Moshe Tzviran also deserves the credit of being very close with Jeremy, and I'm sure that the decision of Jeremy to donate such an amount of money for that purpose, part of it is his trust in Moshe, so we also thank Moshe Tzviran. So I think I'll stop here, and even though Jeremy is not here, we are very grateful to him for his generosity. Thank you.
Well, you can interrupt me for further donations wherever you want. Welcome, everyone. Our Board of Governors committees lie at the heart of the Tel Aviv University leadership, and we are happy to see them grow. These committees are your opportunity to find solutions for big picture problems, as well as possibly influence daily campus life positively. This year, we are especially proud of our academic committee, which has reconvened after a 10-year pause. I would like to invite Professor Francois Helborn, co-chair of the academic committee.
Thank you, Dafna, and good morning to all, dear Ariel, dear Amos, all Dean, Dean Millet. It's very nice to be with you again this morning. I've been the co-chair of this academic committee like 15 years ago, and it's true, this committee has disappeared for 10 years. I don't know why. And I'm very, very pleased that this committee, thanks to you, Dafna, started to reconvene, and I'm very pleased that the rector, who's going to speak about the resolution of the committee, has been sharing that. It is a very, very interesting committee for the board members and for the governors. So I insist that next year we'll do that committee not on Monday, the first day of the board, but in the middle of the board. I was in Paris in Zoom, so in Paris in Zoom is not like being here. And I insist that most of you board members, governors of Tel Aviv University, join this committee, because it's a great chance, a great opportunity to meet directly all the deans, the rector, and our chairwoman, and to discuss really what's going on in terms of objective, goals, means, and results of all our amazing faculties. So it's a great committee. Thank you to have it rebuilt it, and next year we'll have a great one with plenty of board members joining that committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francois. The invitation to join committees, all the committees, is open to all board members. Okay. We will have now a brief presentation of our committee resolutions, beginning with our steering committee announcement regarding the 2024 Board of Governors meeting, which 25th. Sorry, 200. Start again. Our next Board of Governors meeting will take place May 18 to May 25th, 2025. I don't know why it's that. Okay, this is my opportunity and our opportunity to thank our amazing production team, Yael Regev, Tamar Pe'er, Anat, wait, listen to their names, Anat Kizov-Nevo, Alona Eshel-Biran, and all the other teams, very many people who work tirelessly months to make this conference so special. Thank you so much. Next year will be even better. I would like to invite Professor Mike Steif, Rector and Co-Chair of the Academic Committee, to give a short report of our meeting. Please.
Thank you, Dafna. I want to second Francois and resonate his call for board members to participate in the academic committee. This is my first academic committee because for 11 years, I think it was not active, and this is an opportunity for us, I'm talking about the academic crowd of the university, the academic leaders, all the deans and myself, to share with you what we're doing, what we're planning to do, how we view the directions in which the university should develop, and so on. So this is what we had on Monday, this week. And we talked about our recruitment plans, our plans to increase the faculty of the university to a small extent, by a certain extent. We talked about the ratios between different fields, different areas of research in terms of recruitment, etc. And we talked about advances, scientific breakthroughs in the various faculties. The deans presented, each dean presented what was new on their behalf, in their domain. And I also described the university-led projects for advancing the way that we teach and interact with students. We believe that this is a very crucial time to update our ways of teaching and interacting with students, and we have projects for that. I described the Tau Next project, which consists of a project for improving the campus experience, because the interaction with students today in universities, a lot of it is about experience, and the LEAD project, which aims at improving the way in which we present materials, engaging students better, make it more worthwhile for them to come to campus and to engage in active study. And there's also the IT project that is part of it, which is building up the computational infrastructure in order to support the other two projects. So I described those as well. And we heard the views of Francois, of the representative of the committee, of the board on this committee, and hopefully we will hear many more opinions and inputs from governors in future times. So the resolutions, as you can see, there's a list of resolutions. They're listed here. I don't think that there's much point reading them. It's mostly the committee received, the committee commends, the committee encourages, and so on and so forth. But these are the items that I just described. And I hope to see many more of you on this committee in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I would like now to invite Ms. Linda Stride, co-chair of the Student Affairs Committee, to give a short report.
Hello, everybody. I wonder if mine is going to be put on here as well, so I can just speak. Maybe not. Okay. In which case, I need my glasses. Hold on. Okay. So first, It's there? Okay, so you see the resolutions here, so I much prefer to talk than to read them. Most of you know me, but for some of you who don't, I myself was a student here, and I taught here, and I got to love the students, and they've always been the most important part as far as I'm concerned. And I have worked with many deans of students, and I have to say that Professor Dorit Neumann is the best, very best dean that I have worked with. And so we all know the most important thing is to give to students. Now, I myself am now the grandmother of a combat soldier, so I know what it's like for those who go and how difficult it is. I'm also a bereaved mother, so I know what it's like to every day think about those who've lost and hope that it won't happen to anybody else, and that we should help those who are defending our country and make it as easy as possible for them. And so one of the things that we said, and if you see now point 3, we said that we're going to establish an designated ongoing emergency fund. And so what I decided is that instead of that, I'm going to start an endowment fund with $200,000. When I phoned Dorit yesterday, who was in Switzerland, she practically started crying on the phone. And this is what it's about, you know. I mean, she had 70,000 shekels in the kitty, which is nothing to give to our students. And it's so important. They are, as I've always said, the lifeblood of the university. And our great vision, maybe one day this will happen, will be that we'll have a much larger center, that we'll be able to give more and more students the services that they so need, and so will provide for them, because they are the most amazing people. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And I am inviting Selina Gorin-Komoran, co-chair of the Campus Development Committee, to give a short report.
Unlike Linda, I'm going to read because I'm not a good public speaker, but it's good to see you all here and for you to take part in our wartime routine, which is hard for us. We had a very good committee meeting this year, and we encourage more board members to join us because it's in a small group setting, and it's very important for us to get your input. As to the resolutions this year, we were very impressed by the measures taken by the university following October 7th and the establishment of the SAAR, a dedicated emergency infrastructure team. Also, by the continuing construction, not halted despite the war and the shortage of workers, which you have seen, of course, walking around campus, including the Sylvan Adams Sport Institute, the Buchman Law Building, the Israeli Architecture Building, the Miriam and Moshe Schuster Building for the Center of Traumatic Stress and Resilience, and the Mitchell Underground Parking Lot. And of course, the completion of the outstanding Roman Abramovich Building for Nano and Quantum Science and Technology. At the same time, we urge the management of the university to continue to do its utmost to conserve significant green areas on campus. The committee was also very impressed by the university policy on raising endowment funds for building maintenance and renovation, essential to ensure their long-term functionality and beauty. The committee is also impressed by the design of the new dormitory buildings that will add 1,000 very needed beds by 2027 and 7,000 beds by 2034, as it has been more and more difficult, it's very good, for students to find reasonable housing in the area. We are very proud of the university's ongoing commitment to generate and purchase all of its electricity needs from renewable sources. And finally, we urge the university to ensure that gender-inclusive facilities, to ensure that there are gender-inclusive facilities in all new and existing buildings. So that's it for this year, and we hope to see you in our mid-year meeting. We'll send out email to all the board members.
Thank you, Selena. Your family, must be very proud of you. You are so active and devoted. Now I would like to invite Professor Netta Ziv, Vice President for Equity and Diversity and co-chair of the Equity and Diversity Committee, to give a short report.
Hi, everybody. So you see my co-chair is Yafa Tegenye from Canada. Unfortunately, she couldn't come here, but she joined us on Zoom. So this year, and I urge many of you who have talked to me during these days to please join the committee. It seems like you're really interested in what we're doing. So again, we have room on the committee. Please join us. So on normal times, so to speak, really the focus of our committee is to look at who's on campus, who's not on campus, how are we doing, different groups, women, Arabs, first-generation students, students from the periphery, students with disabilities or employees with disabilities, Mizrahi Jews, the LGBT community. And here we have a co-resolution together with the campus committee on students that we have a growing student body of transgender students. So we need to provide for gender neutral or gender inclusive accessible facilities. So we worked on that together. Ethiopian community, which is going to be a real focus in the next coming years, hopefully due to support that we're receiving, and the ultra-Orthodox community. So all these groups must be represented adequately on campuses, and we're doing outreach work to make sure that this happens. Following the October 7th events, a lot of focus was also put into what President Porat had talked about in previous meetings. So the resolution says the Commission ensures the campus remains a democratic and shared space for all, upholding freedom of expression even during times of conflict. This commitment to an open and inclusive environment is crucial for fostering a vibrant academic community. This is not an easy struggle. I think we're doing pretty well on that these days. So this is also part of our agenda and mission. So thank you.
Thank you, Netta. Now, Mr. Neria Zogi, Deputy Director General of Finance, to give a report for both the Fund and Trust Committee and the Finance Committee. Neri?
Okay, so I will begin with the Fund and Trust Committee. So the Fund and Trust Committee met on May 28. The meeting was co-chaired by Mr. Edwin Wolfson and Mr. David Granot, who also serves as chairman of the Investment Committee. We presented the investment portfolio, which amounted to 3.3 billion shekels. We discussed the investment policy and the current asset allocation, including the detailed portfolio structure, the geographical and sectorial distribution, currency exposure, and management costs. Last year, the annual return was 10%, with a total income of more than 300 million shekels. This return compensated for almost all 2022's losses. Despite the war and the volatility in the local markets, the current year is also yielding a high return, about 5.7% in the first 6 months, and we hope that will continue. The university is considering investing in 40% of the dormitory project, and the memorandum of understanding was signed with the current operator. The investment committee carefully navigates the investment while taking advantage of opportunities to ensure the stability of the portfolio. So these are the resolutions. The main new resolutions is that the community appreciates the university's effort to implement the recommendation for investment in the dormitory project and will continue to follow the development of the initiative. So this is for the Fund and Trust Committee. We'll move to the Finance Committee. Thank you. So the Finance Committee also met on May 28. The meeting was co-chaired by Mr. Tzvi Ziv and Mr. Tim Schlindwein. We presented the main outputs of the university, the trends in student numbers, and our research outputs in the various parameters. We also presented the financial statement with the total assets of 8.7 billion shekels, the financial investment portfolio, and also the continuing campus physical development. The total revenue amounted to about 2.6 billion shekels, and we looked over the distribution and the various sources, and particularly the support of VATAT through the budgeting models. 2023 ended with a balanced budget and even a slight surplus. The current academic year opened under the shadow of the war, which brought with it economic uncertainty and various threats such as budget cuts and international boycotts. Beyond dealing with these challenges, the university offered massive assistance to the reservist students, including special scholarships, supplementary courses, psychological support, digital accessibility, and academic accommodations. Along with that, the university continued its development momentum, fostering academic excellence and promoting the president's strategic goals, as well as physical development, renovation and new buildings, expansion of the dormitory project, and gradual transition to green energy. All this keeping a balanced budget and the financial stability of the university. So these are the Finance Committee resolutions, and we added the third resolution that the Finance Committee congratulates the university for its support and assistance to the reservist students and calls for the continued allocation of resources to ongoing support. Thank you.
No 12 million. So there is another announcement. You know, we accepted a few days ago a new governor to our board of governors, David Bezov from Canada. So I was just informed that David pledged $1 million for a very, very special and unique purpose, which is, this is something that was initiated I think a year ago by NETA, and this is a playground, accessible playground for children with disabilities from all over Tel Aviv. So not just for the university, it would be accessible Tel Aviv, and then everybody that would be able to use it. I think it would be a great contribution to the community by Tel Aviv University. So thank you very much to David, even though he's not with us over there. Thank you.
Okay, keep it coming. I would now like to propose a motion in favor of accepting the committee resolution. Would someone like to move the motion? Second? Okay, you're very quiet. Look at that. Okay, so, okay, thank you. The 2024 Board of Governors Committee resolutions are ratified.
Thank you, Dafna. I will now invite Daniel Zilber, Chairperson of the Student Union. Please, the stage is yours, Daniel.
Hello, everybody. It's truly good to see you here today. The fact that this event is taking place and that you're here is not to be taken for granted. 267 days ago, Hamas launched a murderous attack on the people of Israel, and since then, every single day we've been fighting. Your presence here and the willingness and ability to come to Israel for those of you who came from abroad is highly appreciated and gives us, the students, great strength. Since the massacre, we have been in a daily war. We fight on the front lines. Out of all of the university students, around 7,000 of our students, my brothers and sisters, fellow students, have actively served in the reserves. 2,000 of them served for over 100 days in the war, and 17 of us did not return to the classrooms. We fight on the front lines. Countless volunteers initiatives have arisen thanks to the students within the framework of the student union and beyond. The volunteering activities that the university has initiated and continues to support have given hundreds more of us the opportunity to strengthen the home front during the days of the war. We fight for the opinion of global audience on social networks and other communication mediums. One of the most painful things in this war is the understanding that Israel is our only country. This is the only country in the world in which Jewish students feel safe in these days. It's truly a painful understanding, and it's hard to see it. We fight for ourselves. This war has affected so many dimensions of our personal lives: our family, our economic situation, our physical condition, and our mental health. We fight to preserve the set of values that each of us held before the outbreak of the war. The desire to believe that there is a better future in Israel, despite of everything, and the willingness to continue fighting for it. And alongside all of this, we found the strength to fight for the academic studies, why we're here. Most of us started the academic year despite the difficulty. We were able to do so thanks to the university's tremendous efforts, a delayed start to the semester, extensive financial support to the faculties, and directly to the students themselves through the student union and the Dean of Student Success. I stand here in the first week of the second semester with tens of thousands of students who have managed to pass the first semester, which is not obvious at all, and some even managed to excel in it. It would not have been possible without the assistance of many of you who have contributed to the university and stood by its side in the recent months. Those contributions, without any doubt, have enabled thousands of students to continue their studies. There are still many challenges that the future has in store. As I said, we have only just begun the second semester, and even strongly than the first semester, the feeling of exhaustion is at times overwhelming. We have a whole semester ahead of us to complete, and then another period of exams. Most of the reservists who return to the university are still completing materials from the first semester and are still actively in special exam period. When they will finish completing the material, they will need to enter a new race to catch up to the gaps of the second semester that have accumulated so far, not to mention getting a moment to breathe. Not only do we need to process what has happened to us collectively as a community and what each of us has experienced and gone through, the added struggle of keeping on top of our studies is a weight that we all carry around continuously. As we speak, 1,000 students serve in the reserve unit this day. Many have already been summoned for a second round of reserve duty, and some are already preparing for a third round. As I said at the beginning, the students of Tel Aviv University are an integral part of the IDF's reserve duty system, and therefore the duty and the right to defend the country is ours to carry. We will still need your help. In these days, we are fighting on every possible front, and every time we are surprised anew by how much strength we find in ourselves to succeed. There are fronts where there is no question at all. We will win the war in Gaza and in the north. But facing those national duties, the academic study front, for many of us, has to be pushed back to a secondary priority. Every contribution of yours gives us, the students, another push forward and towards the success in the academic studies front. I truly thank you for your invaluable assistance over the past year, both financially and fighting for Israel's global image during this just war that was forced upon us on October 7th. Thanks to you and thanks to your strength, we will keep fighting in the name of all 1,550 civilians, protectional forces personnel, and soldiers who died, thousands of injured, and for 125 hostages still in captivity in Hamas tunnels. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle, for sharing your perspective with us. I'd now like to invite Dafna to return to the stage for the next part of our plenary session.
Dear governors, October 7th, thank you. October 7th and the war that broke out afterwards recapitulated the role and place of civil society in Israel in general, and in the social role of Tel Aviv University in particular. In recent days, you have heard about the extensive community engagement of the university, faculty, students, and of course, about the military service of thousands of students. Today's panel will focus on the amazing efforts of Israeli citizens and civil society organizations for the benefit of the many people whose lives were disrupted since the war broke out. People from all walks of life came out to help the victims, the evacuees, the families of the hostages, and of course, the soldiers. Since then, the state of emergency has turned into a prolonged emergency routine, and the needs are only growing. But civil society in Israel was not born on October 7th. In the beginning, Jewish communities worldwide worked hard and donated generously to build up Israeli civil society. Over the years, as Israeli society matured and the economic situation improved, Israelis themselves increasingly took part, strengthening weaker links and enabling groups from the geographic and economic peripheries to climb the socioeconomic ladder. In the last decade, a dramatic transformation has occurred in how individuals and foundations perceive their roles as donors. They have shifted from one-off acts of charity to systematic and effective giving. The organizations and associations themselves have also changed, improving professionalism and efficiency. This professionalism bore fruit and saved lives when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out. Organizations and funders had established good channels of communications, allowing them to dive straight into the field and assist people without wasting time setting up new systems. Today, we know that this was just a dress rehearsal. With the outbreak of the Israel-Hamas war and the realization of disaster's magnitude, civil society partnerships and frameworks emerged within days. Businesses, nonprofits, local and regional governments, philanthropists and government, and the Homefront Command established an online platform called Israel Rises for joint action to prioritize and support needs on the ground. Tao's Institute for Law and Philanthropy, which systematically monitors and studies giving patterns in Israel, found an unprecedented mobilization of the public in the war's first weeks. The research data support this. The volunteer rate was 41%. The donor rate was 62%. And average cash donations were double those made during regular times. During the first weeks and months of the war, as part of Tao's special mission, the Institute for Law and Philanthropy sprang to action and, working in partnership with field organizations, made information accessible to donors and foundations. The aim was to use data and networking to direct the flow of emergency donations more precisely. The briefs published on the Institute website provide a historic picture of civil society activity in the shadow of emergency. This brings me to the last point. Tel Aviv University is well known for groundbreaking research and world-class studies. But what is less known is that Tau is also a hub of social creativity. Our Entrepreneurship Center offers courses of developing social initiatives and social businesses. Through another program run by the Students' Success Center called Tau Impact, over 1,400 students invested 70,000 hours in the community this last year alone. Another type of social startup was founded by a group of doctoral students at the Tzvi Yavet School of Historical Studies in collaboration with Professor Iris Rachmimov. The students are working with over a dozen civil society and organizations, as well as partners on campus, to set up one of the world's first digital archives to document and preserve the enormous amount of online activity by volunteers after October 7th. Let's watch a video about them.
In the first couple of hours and first couple of days after the Hamas attack on October 7th, first-hand testimonies were starting to emerge on social media. We felt that we needed to create a system for preserving these testimonials for the service of future generations and especially of future academics, future historians who will be conducting research into this period.
Us as historians really saw the opportunity to leverage our knowledge and our experience into something which I think is extremely important.
One of the first things we saw after the October 7th attack was how quickly and effectively civil society organized to offer help. People were collecting and delivering food packages and clothing and even military equipment. Civil society was extremely vibrant and active, and that was one of the things we wanted to document.
We wanted to be able to create an archive that will serve the historians of the future and will preserve the different initiatives that are and were taking place.
The Civil Archive of the October 7th War is an academic project. We're collecting 3 kinds of material. One of them is first-hand testimonials published on social media. Another kind of historical source is the material created by civil society initiatives to offer help. And the third kind is oral histories. What was very important to us was to show a bottom-up perspective and show how everyday people experienced the war.
I think our archive is a great representation of digital humanities in the sense that it really captures what good cooperation between humanities and computer science is all about. You really need people who understand both sides of this sort of equation to provide the good solutions to really make this archive work.
The archive is a future-oriented project, so when someone comes to the archive or uses the archive online 20 or 30 or 40 years from now, they would have the material available to them and they will have some notion of how people told their stories.
You can see the resilience of civil society in Israel, and if something makes me optimistic, that is it.
I believe the social activism taking place on campus becomes embedded in the hearts of our students, and many of them go on to lead civic and social involvement in their professional careers. Today, Tau and its Institute of Law and Philanthropy are presenting 2 such social leaders. Please welcome to stage Advocate Galia Fait, Executive Director of the Institute of Law and Philanthropy at the Buchman Faculty of Law. Nehorai Erdinest Ofri, a Tau alumnus and a co-founder of Community O, a pioneering non-profit in Israel dedicated to strategic and sustainable philanthropy, and Omer Steinhardt Askel, founding member and chief executive officer of Bunot Alternativa, whose COO is also a Tau alumnus. Please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dafna, thank you very much for spotlighting the Institute for Law and Philanthropy and Tel Aviv University's support of activism for its students. I actually wanted to take the time to stress the differences between civic activism, civic engagement, and social engagement, but I was just told that our time was cut in half. So if we can have the slide put up, but I won't go into this. Just want to stress that social engagement actually helps, especially young people, develop their values, their political positions, and their opportunities to express them. That's why they're interconnected and very important to for the university to support students in their in their pathways, right, to social and civic engagement. I want to welcome Noai and Omer and jump right into what we want to talk about. So I want to start with Omer. Omer, I want to, please, if you're willing to, share Bonot Alternativa's story. When was it established? What was the aim? How it has evolved in light or in shadow of the government's policies in the early 2023, and how it has changed since October 7th.
So, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting us here today. I'm very excited. You can hear it in my voice.
So are we.
But Bonot Alternativa, which literally means building an alternative, was established around August 2020 by a wonderful woman named Moran Zel-Katzenstein. And she had an idea. She wanted to make an impact. And she decided to just take a stand. She gathered a group of, I think we were something like 20 friends. I didn't even know anyone on this group, but she said she collected women from all sorts of industries, women who could actually make an impact, and we just started. We decided to have a rally. We thought that 20 or 200 people will come max, and then we ended up having 5,000 people in this rally. The cause for all this organization, this rally, was a very serious case actually it was tragic case of a rape in Eilat, southern city of Eilat. 30 guys with one teenager. It was insane. From, I can't even imagine, or I can't even talk about it because it really, 30 guys, one girl, crazy. So Moran decided to take a stand, say, enough. If you don't stop, we would. And we just started, and we started reacting to all kinds of cases, either known to the public or cases that were brought to us. And we were there for the voiceless. We were the voice for the voiceless for the longest time until January 2023, when it was January 4th that Yariv Levin, Minister of Justice, proposed or announced of the judicial coup. And we were there. We decided to go to join the protests because we know that when democracy is under attack, women's rights are under attack. Where there's no democracy, there's no equality. And gender equality, this is what we're fighting for. For about a year, we were fighting. This is me, very upset, I think. It was Jerusalem. In Jerusalem, and we were fighting. We were out there every Saturday, actually whenever we were called. And the idea was, women's rights. It's not a sexy idea. People don't like dealing with women's rights because it's like we're women. By the way, women in Israel, we're 51% of the population. We're the largest minority in Israel. We're still treated as a minority. It's crazy. And the fact that we needed to show, or the way we decided to make that impact, to show we were there, was by dressing up as the handmaids, the costume from The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. And the first protest, we were 12. And then the second protest, we were 200. the idea, the image, the figure, it just, it catched like that. It was caught like that. And I think when October 7th happened, we were, of course, it was October 6th, but by that time we were something like 100,000 women joining our organization. Yes. So starting from 40, it was like in a night, really. And October 7th happened. 6:30 a.m., we were texting each other, not knowing what to do. And I think it was a few hours later that we decided to put aside all protest efforts, just to turn our efforts towards society, to help communities, nobody actually knew what to do, but we knew that we need to be there. So on October 7th, I think it was 7 p.m., our warehouse that we used to store the costumes, it just turned to be a warehouse for donations, for milk substitutes, for diapers, for anything that we could help the refugees. There are still refugees. And yeah, then we joined Brothers in Arms. We joined forces together, and when we started, it was only us, the group, the small group from Tel Aviv, mainly from Tel Aviv. But then after the first or second protests, many women from all across the country wanted to dress up as handmaids, but they wanted to convey the message. So little groups of women from all across the country joined us and created their own groups. We work with WhatsApp app, and it's all online. And so many, I would say, not independent, but really so many groups grew up during this year. And all these women, those 100,000 women, just joined our efforts to help the community. Their community, because the war shook the earth underneath us, and help also the refugees. And this is what we've been doing until actually recently, because we understand that this is us. I mean, we're the citizens. We need to be here. If the country is not here for us, we'll be here for us.
Thank you very much for sharing a great example of social and civil engagement. I will come back to you with a question of how to keep the mass that you engaged in the long term. But I want to ask Noai sort of the same question. Could you tell us a little bit about Community O and how it supports the people in Israel to give and be engaged during emergency and in the long term?
Yeah, so again, thank you very much for inviting me and being here. So we established Community O a little bit more than a year ago with the goal of making a new culture of philanthropy in Israel, more seamless, more collaborative, more efficient, more innovative. And we basically help individuals and organizations to reach their philanthropic goal, their vision. It can be giving circles, can be grassroots initiatives that we see a lot here in Israel that they need help to do it effectively. It can be also philanthropic partnerships, even multi-sectoral philanthropic partnerships, which become more and more important, specifically these days. We act as the backbone of the initiative, as the operational partner. They're coming to us, and we help them with all the regulation parts, the legal, financial parts, and make sure they can focus only on what they want to do, on their vision and what they do good. And yeah, so our responsibility as a partner in this initiative is all the operations I said. So it can be the contracts, the legal, the accounting, all the bureaucratic hustle that I think a lot of you know that is happening in Israel. We want to do good, and it's always complicated. Yeah, I can say that specifically in the last 2 years, we saw how much people in Israel want to do good. They want to create initiatives. Most of them are leaving the initiatives when they understand that it's going to be complicated. They think that they should leave their professional lives, but it's not should be like that. So that's what we do. We have this part of the initiative that we are running at Community-O with more than 90 million shekels in funding, with a huge impact of each of them do in different sectors, different kind of initiatives. We supported more than 150 different projects and communities with great partners. Again, we coming and saying like, we are a white label, we want to help you, plug and play, start, do good immediately. I can tell you a story about one of the initiatives called Tech for Israel that established on October 7th. 5 VC leaders raised. That's what they do best. They raised it was I think 15 million shekels, and they came to us and said, "All right, we raise money, but how we can do good with that? We understand that we need a legal entity, we need to build a team. We want to create a real fund that will do great impact from today." So that's what we did. So we became their operational partner, and we created a team of 5 people, a strategy. We decided to focus on mental health and education. And Tech for Israel started, as I said, it was 15 million shekels, and today it's they raised over 40 million shekels, supporting the communities in the south and today in the north. And with matching, it becomes, I think, donations of over 80 million shekels. A lot of big funds, they wanted to find this hidden gem of NGOs, the small ones, the ones who are grassroots and coming from the communities or already operating in the communities, and we help them, the UJA, Schusterman, and all this organization to find, to be a partner in the Tech for Israel strategy. Just to summarize it, so Tech for Israel is just one example, but our idea of being a holistic partner that can help with all the bureaucratic, the hustle part of doing good, promote more people, more organization, to get involved in the civil society in Israel. And I can say personally that it's the most important thing today. As you saw, a lot of people want to do good, and it's the only thing that will save our country, hopefully. And I'm privileged to be part of this movement.
Thank you very much, Noai. Back to you, Omar, with the question I promised. What is a secret ingredient that Bonot has that enables you to recruit so many women from the walks of life, right? Tel Aviv University alumni and students, even though you're not an alumna, right? We forgive you, but also it's our loss, right? But again, these are women and men from all walks of life. What is the ingredient that helps you recruit and keep them coming, right? And in intensive and for the long term.
So first of all, I think that the secret ingredient is that we're doing it wholeheartedly. I mean, we put our lives and everything that we have in this initiative. We're all mothers, we're all fathers. We have families that haven't seen us for more than a year because every Saturday we're out there and you know, so many initiatives that we go to. But I think the fact, first of all, we volunteered. Bonot Alternativa is a 4-year project. I would call it a project, even though it's an organization now. But it was, everything about it was volunteering. I had a day job, and I just left it because Bonot was my life. It's still my life. All of us. I mean, everybody did the same. And the fact that we're so dedicated and that we can we can show a different angle of women's rights, of gender equality, the fact that we can put a spotlight on the differences or the where and when we're ignored or put aside, or I think women and also men saw that there is something to it. I mean, we're not just shouting, you know? It's just the truth. The truth, I'm sorry. We're telling the truth. So that's one thing. And it's very genuine. And the fact, I think, and that's our name, basically, we're showing that there is an alternative. We have so many, aside from protesting and being out there for the voiceless, we have programs that we developed. We have the education program. We have, actually, there are about 10 educational programs that we're running. And for teachers or for, I don't know, parents and students, we have Bonot campuses. These are actually Bonot mini organizations within campuses across the country. And I think the one project that I really love is about legislation. We are now, hopefully, will be able to change the situation and vote, have election in a few months. And we are encouraging women to, first of all, become members in parties, in different parties, all democratic parties, that you can vote for the chair, for the leader. And it's all about the future. Everything that we do is about, we're just laying the blocks. I don't know how to say it even. We're creating a path.
So here's what I'm hearing. You're giving hope.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I need to know it because right now, I think this is the biggest fight that we've ever fought.
So I thank you for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. You, on the other hand, are a longtime student, alumni tau, and also a next gen supporter, right? So maybe give us a peek into what was it during your studies that pulled or pushed you towards civic and social engagement?
Yes, I was a student in Tel Aviv University for more than 7 years, but I started my let's say social activities when I was a little bit younger. I founded my first NGO when I was 16, but I think I can think about 3 examples of why the time in Tel Aviv University encouraged me.
One.
Yeah, I will start with one. Encouraged me to get involved in more in social activities. So the first one was in my first semester. I met Professor Manuel Trachtenberg. He just got elected to the Israeli Knesset, and we had a conversation about the future of Israel. And this conversation inspired me to ask him if he needs an assistant in his office at the Knesset. And then I started 10 years of policy consultant career. And another short story is here in the campus is a group when I was in my last year at the BA before I started my PhD. It was a group of people that brainstorm about what can we do as a young people from Tel Aviv, students. And this conversation led to a movement called Mekomi Tel Aviv that ran to the Tel Aviv City Council. And it was more than that. It became a community that get really involved in the Tel Aviv city, created social initiatives, and I'm really proud of this thing. And the last story that I tell you about how this place can encourage people to do good is when I started my PhD, I was sure that I'm going to focus on globalization, diplomacy, something like that. And a seminar that I took changed my life in terms that it changed my PhD thesis to future of work policy. And later this shift led me to launch my first startup called Skills Up that helped people to find a job and integrate into the new world of work. So I can tell you that all these experiences in this campus, this place, the people, the classes, the professional opportunities, and completely affect my involvement in the civil society and politics and social activities.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. The clock behind you is telling me that I'm not taking care of the time well enough. I want to ask you, Dafna, before we close this session. You're attentive, you're hearing Noah and Omar, and you know many other stories of how Tau encourages its students and its alumni with civic and social engagement. From your perspective as a chairwoman, right, of the Board of Governors, what else can we do to enhance these activisms?
First of all, what you see here is just a fraction of what's going on in Tel Aviv University when it comes to its civil engagement and social. I spoke with Professor Neta Ziv earlier this week. When she came into office, she wanted to map all aspects of social activity and contribution to the bigger society of Israel, and she's still working on it because of so many, because of all kinds of projects and centers and from initiatives, grassroots and not, and I think it's embedded in the ecosystem here. And when people ask me why I invest time and effort in Tel Aviv University, this is the first thing I say, that about the community, about the feeling of doing things together, not just for the university and for others, and to understand that this is the way to move forward. Not everyone is Norai who started at the age of 16. Many people have to be encouraged. So the idea that there are academic lessons here that give you academic credit, it's one way to show that the university and its leadership really recognize the importance of such lessons and lectures. And I think I wanted to connect it and to make this decision to do this session today, because all of the donors and all of the governors are people who believe in giving, and they understand how wonderful it is to give and what satisfaction it brings. And we want this joy to be also for others. So it's not about just educating the others, but participating with them, being their partners. And I think together we can improve a little bit our world.
Thank you very much. Do we have time for questions, comments from the audience? Yes. Great. Does anyone, because I can't see anything, so. Oh, yeah. Gary. How about if
I'm Gary Rayant from San Francisco. Thank you all for your wonderful presentations and for all you're doing. My question to both of you is, now that you have large constituencies, how do you change that or move that forward to policy and advocacy?
Well, I think it's a good question. Yes, yes. So basically, our next step as Bonot, it's kind of like educating the audience, our audience, women mainly, that they have a voice, they can shout, and they can raise it, and they can use it. And either it would be within their community or really run for office in their city hall or city council, or even official position in the government or Knesset. This is what we do. This is something that we've put as a major block in our agenda for women. I would call it education, but it's not really just that. It's like, it's deeper. It's like giving them, you said hope, but it's not only hope, it's giving them the tools and encourage them and really build it from within. Hope I answered the question.
So I think we work in two ways. So one, first of all, it's like educated the people who want to do good and show them that it can be less bureaucratic, easier, and they don't have to live their professional life if they want to do good. It can be something really well established and well managed. And we teach them the world of the civil, the bureaucratic aspect of the civil society. What is Niul Takin and Saif 46, the equivalent to 501c3. And so this is one thing. So we want to make more people to get involved. But the other thing we are trying to do top down, sorry, to change the policy in Israel and push it to make it easier for people to donate, easier for NGOs to get this 46, the Niul Takin. It's crazy that it takes 2 years.
My question was really aimed at you personally. What are your personal goals, given all you've done? To really change culture, I think you need to change policy.
Yeah, I agree with you. To change government, that's true, but so I personally I took it as my goal in life to personally I established Community.org because of that, because I felt that I can push more people and organization to do good, and I think it can be simple, and I showed that this can be simple to the government and to these people. So that's my
So obviously that's the most difficult challenge we have as philanthropy and academia, to push people to take stand right in the political arena. Right? We're all very comfortable working from the philanthropic or the nonprofit sector, but once we have to decide to go into politics, then we halt. That's a challenge, definitely. Thank you for your question.
I will run to office one day, not just in Tel Aviv.
I was just going to say that, first of all, thank you very much, and to encourage you a little bit more, when we were around October 7th and people were really thinking about what to do to get this, not bureaucratically, directly to the people that really needed it, we were looking for groups like yours, and you forgot one simple thing, which is the most essential of your work, that people trust you, that they think it goes exactly where it's supposed to go. When you don't have much time, you want to make sure it goes immediately where it's needed. And I know that many people used it and gave a lot because of that, and I think they would have given less if they had to go through the official channels.
Let me draw your attention, if you look at the name. You know that Galia is a male name, Roman name. Omer is a male name in Israel. Nahora is a female ancient name. And Dafna is the only female, but her last names are all male. So, quite a coincidence. But, yeah, I know. No, it's wonderful to see. But I need to say something about Women in Red. As an organizer and participant in all the protests that took place here since January 1 and before, whenever there was a big demonstration, I'm talking about 100,000, 200,000 at Kaplan, when you arrived, you in line arrived, everybody moved aside and everybody was clapping because you were very special. And please continue this good work that you do.
So unfortunately, our time is up. I'm very, very sorry. I want to thank both Omer and Nora again for your activism, first of all, and then for sharing with us today. Thank you, Dafna, for being such an attentive enabler here at the campus. Thank you to the Board of Governors for past, present, and future support. I want to end this with a reminder that we still have hostages and we need to end the war, and to pray and call for the release and the end of the war as soon as possible. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you all for that important conversation, and thank you for all the important work that you do.